it was with good reason that Tulak Hord was known as the Lord of Hate. After all, he commanded great armies into legendary and brutal victories, all while delving deeper into the mysteries of Sith sorcery. Unfortunately, despite achieving mastery of the dark side of the Force, Hord found it difficult to trust the right people. This resulted in his demise. Welcome to the Kyrgyzstan Star Wars Lore Episode 167, The Rise of Tulak Hord. As a student of the dark side of the Force, Tulak Hord quickly ascended the ranks of the early Sith Empire to become a master swordsman. This made him a revered yet intimidating figure among his contemporaries, though Hord did find one ally worth his consideration, Kim Val. Together, they assembled a massive army of followers and thwarted rebellious militants on planets such as Yin and Chabosh. Their actions soon caught the attention of fellow Sith, Aloysius Calig, who, after proving his worth, became a high-ranking officer of the militia. He subsequently led Hord's troops to numerous more victories, using his knowledge of Sith rituals to do so. By draining and feeding off the strength of his opponents, Hord earned the titles Master of the Gathering Darkness, Lord of Hate, and finally, Dark Lord of the Sith. Despite his unbeaten record in battle, however, Tulak feared over Calig's ever-increasing power, and so, to safeguard his seat of power, the Dark Lord ordered the assassination of his potential rival. With the successful destruction of Calig, Lord Hord continued to study the art of Sith sorcery. He even offered several tomes of knowledge in addition to crafting his own personal holocron, but not one for sharing his teachings haphazardly. Tulak scattered much of his instructions in hard-to-reach locations that would test even the most deserving. One being who did prove worthy was Orton Sela, as he became the Dark Lord's only known apprentice. Unfortunately, Hord's trust in the Sith up-and-comer was ultimately misplaced. He discovered this harsh truth around 5600 BBY, when Sela stabbed him through the back. His Force energy was then consumed by the traitor's Dashade servant, Vashik Urk. Hord may have perished in a rather unsavoury manner, but his followers ensured a grand commemoration for their fallen idol. They achieved such by constructing a colossal tomb in the Valley of the Dark Lords on Korriban, which they populated with Tulak's holocron, mask, and several of his writings. Sadly, much of Hord's teachings were destroyed following the Great Hyperspace War. What's more, despite the presence of many traps, Jedi Padawan Revan managed to navigate the tomb, leaving with many of the valued treasures, including the fallen Dark Lord's legendary mask. Of course, this wasn't the only significant piece of facial armour Revan used throughout his storied career. Now it's time for this week's question. Do you believe Tulak Hord to be one of the greatest Sith ever? Let us know in the comments below. Remember to vote for next week's episode by participating in the card poll on screen now. Also, to have your say in future lore videos, head on over to thekyrgyzans.com and get voting. If you learned something new from today's video, make sure to leave a like. And if you haven't already, press that subscribe button and notification bell to keep it locked here to the Kyrgyzans.